Hey guys, this is X, and in today's video for Elder Scrolls Online, I'm going to be tackling the subject of crafting. This will be a two-parter, and I will specifically be focusing on enchanting and blacksmithing. And I'm not going to talk about the rest of them, and the reason being is that they're kind of similar to these two, so once you figure out what I'm talking about here, you're not going to really have that much of a problem figuring out the rest of them. I will say this much: you don't have to craft anything. This is completely an option. I've got friends that play this that haven't even crafted anything since they've been playing. Like I said, this is strictly an option, but there are advantages of this to crafting. One, you can sell anything you craft for gold. Two, if you're making potions and such, that saves you money in the end because you're just making your own stuff. Um, and if you're making armor or weapons or just basically anything, you can have it. You can you can give it to yourself, or you can give it to your party members if you're traveling in a group. Um, Another thing I want to mention real quickly is that as far as materials for crafting goes, you don't have to have them on you. My suggestion is you put them in the bank because whatever crafting station you go to, it's going to draw from that bank. So right now I'm going to be going into the Sealing Shards here in Devon's Watch. And as you can see, there's two enchanting tables, so I'm going to go here to enchant. So it's just tap X to use. And so they're going to give me two options, which is creation and extraction. So we're going to go into creation first. And as you can see, oh, before I forget, let me get back out of this. If you're also wanting to do any kind of crafting, I would suggest you start early on. Don't start later. Um, because it's going to take a lot of time to hone your skills. Um, so so I know you might be tempted to put your stuff in like, well, I want to put it in armor. I want to put it in you know my ability to use like two-handed weapons, which is fine. But like I said, you want to get an early jump on anything you want to do crafting wise. So as you can see, I started out early, so I have like two in potency and two in aspect, which I'll explain what those two are later. Um, and I've also put a point in keen eye. And what you want to do when you're trying to find rune stones out in the wilds of Tamriel, this will make it easier for you to see them because it'll give a bigger glow to them. Um, Now, with that said, uh, when you're improving your potency or aspect, the higher you are, the more you'll be able to use the higher level runestone. So, if I go into creation, as you can see, I have to have, like some of them, I have to have an improvement of 5. So I'm still a ways from being able to use these particular runestones. But I can use these right here. Uh, so the three categories that we're going to be looking at in order to create a glyph, and as you can recall, uh, glyphs are what you use to they can be used to improve your armor or your weaponry. And this is basically what enchanting is. You're just making a glyph. So basically, there's three categories. So first of all, you have the potency runestone, and this is basically what's used to add or decrease an effect. So in other words, like let's say I'm trying to make a particular glyph that wants to add fire. Um, the potency is what you want to be concerned with if you're wanting to add to it. So I would have something like maybe, or like if you're trying to uh, not take as much damage from fire. So right there, you have this particular runestone that will reduce. So the second category is essence, and that's specifically what category that your particular glyph is going to be focused on. So for example, Denny, I think that's how you pronounce it, is that particular runestone is stamina. You might have something for shield or poison or shock or just whatever. Your aspect rune stones, these are your quality. This is what's gonna up the quality of your glyph. And it's basically from top to bottom. It's they're divided into categories like base, fine, superior, artifact, and legendary. As you can see, I can't use this one because I don't have a high enough aspect uh, for this particular runestone. But if I did, I could create a much better um, glyph. So in other words, uh, the higher up you are in the chain for as far as like runestones is in aspect, the better effect that your glyph is going to have. So what I'm going to do right now is what I said. Well, actually, what I'm going to suggest is just kind of play around with the glyphs you have. Make sure you have quite a few glyphs before you do this, because that way you have plenty to work with, and just kind of mess around with and see if you can create a particular glyph. Um, Now you won't be able. It won't tell you specifically what you'll be able to make at first, but if you stumble onto certain combinations of runestones, you'll be able to make a specific glyph, and once you learn it, you'll permanently learn it. So let's say I want to have, let's say, Jero to increase. I'm just going to go ahead and just randomly pick something. Um, and as you can see, I've already experimented on this already, so I've already learned it. So with these specific things, I could create a petty glyph of hardening, which grants a 108 point damage shield for 5 seconds. And as you can see, it's specifically for weapons, because it'll tell you, weapon glyph, enchanting, and it also will tell you the level. So I can only apply this to a weapon it's between levels 10 and 20. Now, if I decide, well, maybe I want to change an aspect rune or just any of the rune stones, all you gotta do is highlight what you want to change and just tap X to remove, and just choose something else. If you want to start all over again, just tap your triangle button to clear out everything. So what I want to do now is I'm just going to go ahead and craft something so you can see how it's done. I'm just going to randomly just choose whatever. And as you can see, I'm going to be able to create a petty glyph of foulness. This is for weapons. And I'm going to be able to deal disease damage. So after I've chosen what I'm wanting to make the glyph out of, just tap, as you can see on the bottom, it gives you options, just to tap square to create. And there you go, it's created. Now we're going to back up out of this for a minute, and we're going to go into the extraction category. Now extraction is you're breaking down the glyph to get rune stones from that. Sometimes you'll get stuff out of it, sometimes you won't. It's pretty random. But if you're trying to find out how to make, let's say you've got a job where you're trying to make a glyph for a particular client, and you're not for sure how to do it. There's some places that you can actually buy glyphs, or maybe you might stumble on there and maybe accidentally found the one that you're really needing. But you're still needing to create it, so you're wanting to know how you can, maybe what runestones are required to make it. So we're going to go into extraction, and we're going to select specifically a particular glyph to extract. So I'm going to highlight the select glyph of hardening, tap X. It gives me all the information on it. So what I'm going to do now is, if you look on the bottom left of your screen, you'll see it gives you an option to extract. So I'm going to go ahead and tap square, and as you can see, I managed to get one thing out of that, which means if I ever have to, if somebody asks me, well, how you make that specific thing, at least I can say, well, okay, I know for a fact that this particular runestone is, used for that particular glyph. Like I said, sometimes you get something, sometimes you won't. It's just kind of random. So, but anyway, that's all I wanted to show uh, you guys for today as far as crafting goes. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and please subscribe. And as usual, just leave me some feedback if there's something I wasn't clear on, or maybe there's something you want to see in this video, or maybe something you want to see in other videos. I'm open to any kind of comments, whether they be negative or positive. And as usual, I really do appreciate you guys with all your support. Like I said before, it just encourages me to make more videos for you guys, at least more how-to videos. But anyway, I'll see you guys soon. Take care.